What is up, Flosstube? Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Brigham House Stitcher. My name is Haley. This is a channel where I talk about my cross-stitch progress, journey, learning, and a little bit of ranting about life here and there. It is November 14th. This is Flosstube number 26, and this is also take 2. I got 37 minutes into the last video and it cut out because my phone ran out of storage. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am. But we're going to start again and we're going to cut out the crap. Okay, so we have a finish. Oh, crap. Jeez. See, in the last video, when I'm done with something, I throw it in the trash down here. Now I can't find it. It's in the trash. Anyways, Virginia of the Statehood Splendor series. Last time you saw it, I think part of the mountains were done. Some of the border, some of this was done. This was done. Sorry. I thought... I can't tell you how disappointed I am. Okay. But anyways, here it is now. I love these little things. All of these are stitched on a Lugana 32 count antique white. And then I'm using the DMC conversion. So there's my Virginia. And there's the Washington that's done. I need to figure out a good way to store these. Hanging them on my wall is not the best, but I liked seeing them. I'm like, finishes, little finishes. I love it. So anyways, that's the finish. I came up with a good idea to keep track of what I have bought and what I have finished because I'm doing all 50. So I got this little coloring sheet on Etsy. Anything that's colored in, I have bought. So I haven't colored this in. The words in color, and then I'll do a color pencil so that it stands out and I'll color it in when it's finished. So we have Washington and Virginia done, and then all these other ones that are colored, those are the ones I have purchased. And so I thought that was a cute little way to keep track. So we're going to go through whips now, and then we'll do my 12 new starts, if I don't forget anything. But first, my sister made me some bags. Look at this beautiful Christmas bag. Beautiful. And it's so fluffy. Look how fluffy. And then it's pink like a peppermint. You know, after you suck on the red and white swirlies, it gets that color. Isn't she so sweet? She made me 3. Better late than never. A Halloween bag. I don't have any of my Halloween stuff in there because I put those away. And then it's just a green inside. But maybe I'll put one of my new starts in here if I like it. Okay. Then I did put one in this bag. And it's just a pretty inside. And what I put in here is It's a Wonderful Life by Ars Onirica. Started October 22nd, 2025. It's on a cashel linen in the color Smoky Pearl. Stitching it with DMC 310, 2/2. It's a 28 count. Where are you, my love? Everything's been put away. This is what it's going to look like. This is what it looked like last time. And here is what it looks like now. I just do like a thread a morning. So small progress, but progress. I didn't work on it every single morning over the last 2 weeks, but I did put in some work. Yeah, that's good progress. Yeah, I love how it's coming out. Really, really love it. Okay. Then we have my work whip, which hasn't seen a ton of love because my staff, when I got back from my vacation, I talked about it a lot in my last take, so I'm not going to do that this time, but they ticked me off. It took me 3 hours to get the store back in order, back in shape, from being gone for a week. Yeah. And so I banned everything from work. No cell phones, headphones, books, crafts, nothing but work. We're just going to work from now on. If you guys can't do the work while I'm gone, all you're going to do while I'm here is work. So I didn't have any time to stitch because I had to set the example. If I started doing this, then they would start doing that, thinking it's okay for them. So this is House Advent Calendar by Lotus Lake Stitching. Started October 4th, 2025. It's on a Newcastle Natural Raw. It's DMC and it's stitched 1/2. It's a 40 count. Like I said, not a lot was done. We've just been working on the border. You can see. And the more I stitch on a 40 count, the more I actually like it. I tell you what, with my dangling threads. So what I did, all I was able to do is this one line here. That's all I got done. And I really need to get serious about it. If I'm going to do any type of stitching on it at Christmas, I gotta get the border done. And then maybe I'll do a house a week. There's no way I'm going to be able to do a house a day, like an actual Advent. It's not possible with how exhausted I'm going to be stepping into the busy season. But maybe a house a week. We can work on that. Next, and then in my last video, I talked about how I had gone back and watched my very first Flosstube, and the only whip that I still have from that time is Visit Argonaut. Visit Argonaut by Country Magic Stitch on Etsy. I started it February 2024. It's on a 14 count Aida, stitched with DMC, and it's stitched 4/1. I was about 50% done with it when I put it down. And I decided that if I was going to pick it back up and just going to stitch it 2/1 in the way I stitch now, because all these stitches go to the left. They go up to the left. And now I stitch everything up to the right. I decided that I'll just leave what I've stitched to the left, and then I'll just stitch everything new the way I stitch it, and then it'll be done, and I'll be, it'll be off my plate because I don't want to get rid of it. And I don't want to stitch it the way it's being stitched. So I picked him out. That was the only way I was going to be happy about it, is if he was cohesive. So all of this is going to be stitched one way, and then everything else that's white is going to be stitched in the way I stitch now. And hopefully it doesn't look too crazy or too terrible, because it's very distinct lines. So that's where we're at with this one. We deconstructed a little bit. All right. Let Freedom Ring by Leela Studios. Started January 4th, 2025. It's stitched with DMC and Classic Colorworks. It's stitched 2/2 on a 28 count Lugana in the color Vintage Mocha. I can't find my card right now. It was in the bag, but it's gone somewhere. I don't know where it is. But anyway, that's what it's going to look like. This is what it looked like last time. And here is where it is now. So we worked right in this building here. I'm trying to get all the low number colors done so that I just do fill in, and then I don't have to think about my stitch count. I can just fill in. Now, I don't know where my tablet is that has my pattern keeper on it. My nephews took it, played on it today. I don't know where it is. But I do know that when I stopped stitching on this on Sunday, I was at exactly 50%. We're 50% done. However, my dear sweet friends, however, in the pattern, this window is not filled in. So all of these stitches do not count. So we're a little bit above 50%. I'm a little bit behind because I had to work the Sunday before this last one, the Sunday right after filming. Anyways, so I didn't get a stitch on it that much. So I am behind on the counts where I should be, but we're at 50%. So, very happy with progress. I never thought I'd get this far. I mean, I hoped I would, but I mean, this was a big undertaking for how long I'd been stitching at the time when I decided to start this. So I'm very happy with the progress. Okay. A new start that's not part of the 12 new starts. I just wanted to start another one because I finished Virginia. This is Statehood Splendor Series Utah. And you guys are very lucky that I had to start over because I read the entire information card on here to you guys because I wanted to know, is that a chair? What is that thing? So I read the information card. It said nothing about a chair. There's also a key that goes right here. And I'm like, what's that key? Not in the information card. It just talks about pioneers and seagulls and the railroad. I'm like, is that a train? Is that railroad ties? No, because it's not even. What is that? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I go, is it just filler? Is it just filler? Like, why a tiny chair next to a beehive? If you guys have any, I think it's a chair. But if you guys think it's something else, please let me know. Is it like a chimney? Because this is a hand cart. This is like a, the pioneers came over with hand carts, pulling hand carts. And so I'm like, I don't know what that thing is. I don't know what it is, but do you know what it is? I don't know what it is. So that's a new start that's not part of my 12 new starts for my year celebration, my 1-year anniversary, whatever you would like to call it. Okay. So far we are moving right along, which is perfect because I don't want to bore you guys to death. All right. Now, here's what I learned from the 12 new starts. 1, if you're going to be chaotic and start 12 new starts in 12 days, you better be prepared. You better have the floss. I had the fabric, but the floss, that's questionable. I mean, here's my DMC. Here's my DMC. So they're not all full, and I don't have every single color. Not yet. But, like, you know, don't have all of them. Okay, so new start number 1 is Rose Sampler. Rose Sampler by Butternut Road started October 31st, 2025. It's on a Newcastle linen summer khaki in a 40 count. I'm using DMC and I'm stitching it 1/2. The more I stitch on 40 count and I stitch 1/2, the more I love it. Like, it's fun. I don't know why. It's like, maybe it's just stitching in general is fun, but for some reason I do enjoy now because a couple of weeks ago I said I hate 40 count and I hate 1/2, but the more I stitch it, the more I enjoy it. So the problem with chaotic new starts is that I had to quickly figure out where to start, which most of the time is in the center, to make sure that I, you know, don't mess up the borders or anything. So the center is this line here, but it's this flower, this border type thing. It's a wavy line with flowers on it, okay? And the wavy line is the same color as these, okay? And you can see the light and the blue in there. It's one color. It's one color. It's a skein called Charcoal. Wildflowers from Caron Collection. Caron Collection. I looked up this skein. $7 a skein. And like more than half of the chart is in that color. So I went to my DMC and I found one that looked like charcoal so that I could start the line. And there's where we're at. I had a lot of fun stitching that. And it's a gray color, which I think looks really good on this, I think it's khaki. Yeah, summer khaki color. So that was a lot of fun. This is one that I want to continue to stitch on, but I ain't buying no $7 skein. So I've got to figure out what color to do, because I love the variegation in those letters. So I'm not going to switch it out with the DMC. I need the variegation because I don't want it to look just plain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was new start number 1. And it got me like super excited for my 12 new starts. But also slightly scared because I'm like, what if I don't have the floss? What if I don't have all the things? Which is semi-accurate. Chaos breeds chaos. Alright, this is start number 2, Strive for Joy by The Proper Stitcher. I started it November 1st. I lost my fabric card, so I don't know what I'm stitching it on. I think it's a 36 count. I'm using Gentle Arts Misty Harbor and French Lilac, and I'm stitching it 1/1. So there's Misty and French Harbor. And here is where I am at. Joy, not. I had a lot of fun stitching this one too. I at first started stitching it 2/2 and it was gigantic. And I was just like, that looks so off. And it could be because I had just stitched on a 40 count, but it was so huge. So I unpicked that and then I did 1/1 and I was like, I think I like that. I think I like that a lot. So that's what we're doing, 1/1 on mystery fabric, because chaos breeds chaos. All right, that was number 2. Number 3, I love so much I put it in my bag. This is Sampler Roll by Samplers Remembered. Started November 2nd, 2025. It's on a Belfast linen in the color Stormy Night, which I am loving. I'm using DMC and Weeks Dye Works. I'm stitching it 2/2 on a 32 count. Okay. This is where I need to learn proper sizing for my stitches, because I didn't want to put this on this, and I didn't want to waste all this fabric on a sampler roll that's really small. So I put it side to side, and I only have like 1.25 inches on each side. So I've got to be real careful as to what I decide to do with this, because I just got a little bit here and a little bit there. But look at the border. Okay, look at the colors, the blue with the green and the gold. I love this border. I think this color of fabric with these colors, so gorgeous. I'm loving this. Loving it so much. This is one that I had to stitch and then unpick and then stitch and unpick. And chaos. Okay, number 4 is Jamestown. Jamestown Settlement by the Posy collection. This was a kit I picked up in Virginia. Started November 3rd. Kit floss, kit fabric, 2/2. This I did in bed before I fell asleep, so it only got 1 thread done. But you know, a start is a start. Not as exciting as the other ones, but hey, Jamestown Settlement is my happy place. I love it there. Okay, number 4. I had issues with these starts. This one in particular, I couldn't decide, and I made a calculation error, and it was just chaos. Okay. Summer Schoolhouse Series Lesson Number 1 by Brenda Gervais. I started it November 4th. It's on a linen in the color Tumbleweed. It's a 28 count. I'm using DMC, which she used Weeks Dye Works, and I didn't have a conversion, so I basically guessed. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a yellow color. Let's see what kind of yellows I have. So I'm stitching it 2/2. Chaos with these starts. And I was kind of hoping to do all of them on the same piece of fabric, but then as I began to stitch this one, I was like, oh no, this is going to be its own piece of fabric, and the other ones are going to have to figure out for themselves. So here's where we're at on this one. Nope. That's how it goes. So that's just the roof line. That's the house where it meets the roof. So, I mean, that's progress on that one. That's a pretty good start on that one. But I've never been so indecisive about these starts, about a pattern before, because I'm like, no, I want all of them to match. And I'm like, but I already started this one on this fabric, and I thought they would all fit, and so it's going to be interesting how those shape up. Okay, number 5 is Humble Homestead. All right. Humble Homestead Sampler by Artful Offering started November 5th. It's on Fall Frolic. I don't know what kind of material, the tag didn't say. But it's a 32 count. I'm using DMC and I'm stitching 2/2. This one I want to continue to stitch on because we decided to have a Little House on the Prairie themed Christmas. And I think it would just be so much fun to stitch it while we kind of celebrated that. So here's where we're at. Very modest beginnings on some of these, but I think that's a good start. Not as chaotic as the summer schoolhouse. Okay, number 6 is French Woolens, which I loved doing this one too. I think it's so cute and I want to keep stitching on it. Okay. French Woolens by Plum Street Sampler, started November 6, 2025. It's on a Belfast linen in the color Weathered Roses, using DMC and stitching 2/2. It's a 32 count. And we started in the middle. We've got sheep shoulders. I think I love that I chose this pink for it. Can you see how cute it's going to be? Can you see? It's going to be so cute on the pink. Ugh. Legit. It's like, okay, it calls for a 36 count. What do I have in 36 count? Legit. That's how it went. But I love the pink color for this. I think it's going to be super cute. Okay. Number 7 is number 7 is Christmas Quaker by Primrose Cottage, started November 7th. It's on a 32 count Lugana in antique white. I couldn't decide what to stitch it on, so I used the Statehood Splendor series fabric for it. I just took what I needed and that's what we're stitching it on. That's what it's for. Bought 2 yards. I got enough of it. Okay, I'm using the Gentle Arts floss in the color Gold Leaf, Deep Forest, and Cinders. I'm stitching it 2/2. Let me show you. I didn't have enough to do the whole thing in one color, so I picked 3 colors that I'm just gonna do the elements in. I thought those are very Christmas colors, so I'm happy with that choice. And here is where we're at. So just that big medallion. That's where we started. Okay. Number 8. Be Ye Thankful. I don't know if I chose the right fabric for this, but we're going to go with it. Okay. Be Ye Thankful by the Cricket Collection. Started November 8th. It's on Davos in the color khaki. It's an 18 count using DMC stitching 2/1. I don't know if I chose the right size fabric. I hope I did. I think I calculated it right. The pattern is, okay, it says on an 18 count it's 8x4, and this fabric is 9x18. So it's gonna be close. Sorry, Is that right? 4 by 8? I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see. I only had the colors for the door. That's all I had. So that's all that got done. So I think step number 2 is to make a shopping list. Make a shopping list. Okay. Number 9 is, wait, am I off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was 9. This one is number 10. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. It's hard to see through these bags. This is number 10. Stitch All the Things Quaker by Darlene Dion Designs. Started November 10th. It's on a Lugana in the color Oaken. I'm using Gentle Arts Cherry Bark and Currant, and I'm stitching it 2/2. I think I also had a good time starting this one. Oh yes, yes I did. Again, I chose 2 colors because I didn't know if I had enough of the one. Look at that. Get my hand out of the way. Look how pretty. Ugh. So pretty. So we got some stuff done. I started in the middle and then I worked down to make sure that it fit, because this is another one I was questioning. It's coming off a little pink on the screen, but it's not that pink. But that was a good start. We watched Cheaper by the Dozen, the original movie from the 50s or 60s or whatever, while I stitched this, and like, haha, it's a comedy movie. The husband dies in the end. They have 12 children and he dies in the end. Like, the baby is like 3 or 5 years old and he just dies of a heart attack. And the wife carries on and she becomes like Woman of the Year and like speaks in Prague and all this stuff, and it's wonderful. But I'm like, what kind of a comedy movie ends with the dad dying? I know he died in real life and all that stuff, but it was not a fun watch all the way through, you know? Okay. Next is Summer Schoolhouse Series lesson number 4. And I pulled this. I did the spinning wheel. Somebody in the comments suggested I do a decision wheel. And I pulled this like 3 days before I actually started it. Because I was like, I'm so indecisive about it. Okay. Summer Schoolhouse Series, lesson number 4 by Brenda Gervais, started November 11th. It's on a Lugana in the color Avocado. It's a 25 count using DMC and stitching 2/2. I had so much anxiety about starting this. And this is one where I was like, okay, let's get the rest of the patterns. Where's my picture for you? Let's get the rest of the patterns, because we have lesson 1, right? It's on its own fabric. Let's get the rest of the 4 on one piece of fabric. Let's try, okay? They can all fit here, right? Right? Probably not. So I started stitching it and it was this big and I was like, oh, that's way too big. So then I take it out and I start stitching 1/1 and I'm like, holy cow, that's so small. So then I had a little one stitched and then I had a big one stitched next to it, and I talked it over with my sister and we decided on the big one. So I unpicked the little one and stitched the big one again, and I'm basically like making up colors because she stitched it in Weeks Dye Works and some of the colors don't transfer over to DMC, so I'm doing my best. So much stress over this. So that's the start on that one. This is the bottom border. So, I mean, I love these patterns so much. They're so freaking pretty. I'm so anxious about them, you know? I want them to be as pretty as they are in the pictures. Okay, last start. Last start. All right. This is Jenny Bean's Friendship Sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. I started it November 12th. It's on a Jobelin Natural Light 28 count, DMC 2/2. Now, the middle of this is these words here. And she has stitched those words and then filled in that box. Not doing that, okay? It just ain't happening. I'm not filling in that box. I'm just not doing it. So what I did was I started in the top corner to make sure that, again, it fit on the fabric. I know people have that's a Lego flower. Why is that in my stitch bag? My sweet little nephews must have left that for me. Somebody in the comments said, oh, there's a website where you can calculate the fabric you need. I'm trash at math. I know it does it for you, but I don't even know if I would do it right. Anyways, maybe I should try it out and stop being such a paranoid freak. Possibly. Anyways, there's where we're at. Started in the top corner. And there was something about the pattern where I changed the color. Because I didn't have what it called for. So I changed the color, and I'm like, at this point, we've got 12 new starts in 12 days. Like, I'm over the right colors. We're going to do what we've got to get the 12 new starts. So, there it is. And we are just going to go with it. All right. So, there are my 12 new starts. Oh, like going through them was almost as chaotic as starting all of them. It was super fun too. Super fun. I loved each new start except for the summer schoolhouse series. That was a lot of stress. Everything else was super fun. So let's see, what are my plans coming up? Because now that I'm done with my 12 new starts, I have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 current whips that I'm working on. That's almost 20. No. We don't need to start another one. No. Okay. We don't need an even 20. No. So what I have done is I've made 3 decision wheels. One that has all the new starts on it, one that has all the old whips on it, and one that says old or new. So, depending on the day, I'm going to spin the old or new, and if it says old, then I'm going to spin the old wheel, and it's going to tell me which one to work on. And if it says new, then I'm going to spin the new wheel, and see which one it tells me to work on. I think that would be the best way to not feel overwhelmed. Take the pressure off of deciding or choosing a favorite, or, well, this one didn't get touched, or will I have enough to show in my next Flosstube, that sort of thing. So, I think that's the plan going forward. I don't have any, pardon me, I don't have any haul except for my new bags, which I showed you, and think that's it. I think that's all I have. I think so. Okay. All right. We're done now. We're good. Okay. So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. In my first take, I read the information card about the Statehood Splendor series. I read that. It was somewhat interesting. It did take some time. If you would like me to read that on camera, if you're interested in that, if the story behind the stitch, let me know and I can include that as I'm working on them. And then that's really it. That's all. All right. So we will see you in 2 weeks, and it won't be as chaotic as this. Maybe it will, because it's the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. All right. I'm going to get off the camera before I start rambling even more than I already am. Anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.